Yes, it was in the days we went to the proms. The chance of getting tickets for the last night were pretty remote. And what they did then at that stage was it was by ballot. You sent an envelope to the box office with your name and address on it, and this went into whatever sort of selection they did, and they picked it out like a raffle. And if you were luckily picked out, they would send your addressed envelope back to yourself, with including an entry form which you could fill in. So anyway, we did it. We thought, well, why not? Well, if you don't chance it, you never know what's going to happen. And we were amazed to receive this form. It meant we were right up in the gods, the very top tier of the Albert Hall. But we had a wonderful view, and it was in the days of Sir Malcolm Sargent, who was a very witty speaker with the last night's speech. So that was that. We thoroughly enjoyed ourselves. Anyway, the following year, we laughingly said, oh, well, let's try again. And believe it or not, we did it again. Yes, Roger was a great one for making cards. I think throughout my whole married life, most of my cards were made by him, and they were always very worth keeping and very amusing, mostly using our cats, depending whether we had one, or at one point we had 9, which is another story, and so they varied, but I can see caricatures of both of us. He was very good at his caricatures, actually. He also did cards for other people as well, but and there again would invariably include the person themselves that they could recognise. But it was my collection of my own cats that I've appreciated most. When we first came down to here from Southampton to look for a place, we ended up finding that the cottage that we had, and we didn't spend all that much time here, obviously looking at the place. When we got back to Southampton, of course, various friends said, "What's it like? How does it look?" and so on. And he drew a picture of it. When we got back, it was pretty accurate, considering he hadn't had all that time to look at it. Yes, now the statue is actually of a gypsy woman and her child, a photograph that he'd taken quite some time before, but when was looking for a model to do, he got the picture out and took it's terracotta. There's just a tiny bit of glaze on it around the trimming of the woman's neckline. After Roger had died, and I was doing the odd bit of needlework, not all that much by then, a competition came up in needlework magazine for a hanging to go on the Queen's Christmas tree of that year. And I thought it'd be fun to try and enter, so I did a hanging of a dove of peace, and in fact I stuffed it so that it had a three-dimensional effect, and was very surprised to find it was selected. Not only that, was the fact that in photographs on in the magazines of the result, with the Queen visiting the tree and in fact attaching some of the baubles, there was my bauble in full view. Couldn't have put it in a better place myself. But not only that, I was surprised and delighted to see it on the tree at her Christmas speech.
Elgar's Pomp and Circumstance March #1, played by the BBC Symphony Orchestra, BBC Symphony Chorus, lots of other people involved too, all conducted by the orchestra's much loved chief conductor Jerzy Janaclawe.